Great. All right, we're here at the studio with some folks that have been in the scene a while, and why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and let the peeps know who you are.
I'm Bob Bennett.
I'm Lisa K. Calloway.
We're here for the Dangers gig. We also do the Bell Rays. If anybody knows us, that's what he knows.
And how long have you guys been working in the scene here in the Inland Empire?
We've been staunch supporters since about 87, at least.
1987.
For me, you were doing stuff earlier than that. Because
Yeah,
you were playing
I
with the Dangers.
met Chris and played the Dangers in 1980. And did lots of bands the whole time.
Sweet. And just out of curiosity, when it comes to that many years is a long time to be functional in the scene, because one of the ongoing jokes almost is every 5 years some of us that have been around get back together to see who's still around. I wish it was funny. But what do you find that has allowed you to succeed in your longevity in what it is that you do?
Going outside of Riverside and the Inland Empire has actually helped. But not going out like, I remember there was a big exodus back in the early 90s. People that just said, there's nothing going on in this town and blah, blah, blah. And so they moved to other places. That was never the way that we looked at dealing with it. Ours was, okay, well, we got to obviously play more places to come back and play here. Which is kind of a weird thing, but I guess everybody's got to do it. It's not, I don't think it's unique to where we are. And we've been very fortunate because this scene has grown and grown in a more natural way, not like it did in Seattle and some of these other places, where it just kind of explodes, and then everybody's doing stuff there, and then people move there and say that they're from there, and they're not. And you have this fake scene, but I think here we have something that's actually been organic, and grown naturally.
Yeah, and we've always been lucky. I mean, people have wanted us to play, so we always had gigs, we always had places to play. So we were always able to keep going, and then, when we actually got outside the country and stuff and started doing that, which was other fortuitous things, it just all sort of fell into place. We put in a lot of hard work, and we just happened to be, you get out enough, you meet people, and people help you.
Yeah, the networking.
Yeah.
One thing that I've found interesting over the years in the Inland Empire scene in particular is, dare I say, back in the day, when you mention the turnover from the late 80s into the early 90s, and through the 90s there was a definite separation between the Redlands scene that was happening, the Riverside scene, and Claremont or Upland. What I have found is that now that folks are getting past their 30s into their 40s, an example would be this gig, is there's a lot more continuity and solidarity in working together. How do you think that has evolved or changed from what it used to be? For instance, working with the Dangers.
Oh, man, I mean, I can remember, when I was very first in the Dangers, there was sort of a flow in between the bands that I knew. I knew people who were in this band, and then they joined this band that I was in, and then we both went and joined this other band, and that guy from the first band, he was in that third band, and it just kind of, it did that. And then after a while, it just seemed to, the bands that we were in were never really part of any scene, so we always sort of saw the scenes.
We were never really a part of any of it.
Yeah,
we
played all the places, but we were never associated with any of the bands for some reason. So it was always, we always viewed it from the outside. We always saw, wow, look at all these bands that are over here, and look at all these bands that are over here, and that's going on there, and this is what it is. And then we just ended up, like I said, playing gigs, but it was always with a different crowd or a different bunch of bands or something like that. And to me, that's like the biggest. And now it's sort of come back where like the survivors, are all oh, you're alive too? Oh, great. You know, we should have a show. Yeah, we should have a show. And now everybody has the wherewithal and the, you know, I guess the income or at least they've been around long enough to where they know how to get something done, so we can, you know, have these get-togethers.
I have 3 words: black female singer. For whatever reason, that seems to be like raid on a pile of ants when it comes to music or something. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just when people start to link in, at least back then, it seemed to be a big deal, that if you got this black female singer singing, all of a sudden it's not rock and roll anymore. All of a sudden it's something that should be in a different category. All of a sudden people are saying, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Tracy Chapman, when nothing we ever did reminded you of Tracy Chapman other than somebody being black.
They see the
fronting
album
the band.
cover or the tape cover and they say, oh wow, this must be Tracy Chapman.
No.
It must be.
No. So there was a lot of that going on, and I don't know for a fact because I was never in any meetings going on, but it was like we were never really a part of any scene, but we had fans that kind of crossed over, and the whole thing with Redlands, Riverside, and San Bernardino, and all of that stuff going on, I never really felt any less accepted in any of those other areas or part of any other scene, because of what Bob was saying, we're never really in a scene. So we just kind of kept working independently on our own and getting gigs where we could and kind of looking outside of that to just propel ourselves. Because that thing with the black female singer thing plays into Gilman Street, the big thing up in San Francisco. I remember trying to get gigs up there when we were trying to branch out further, and they told me, we're not really into chicks that can sing. We're more into screaming chick vocals. And then the next year, for the punk scene, you know, we were on the cover of Maximum Rock and Roll after that. And then they send us a thing saying, can you help us with this benefit to play Gilman Street?
We're having a benefit to
save Gilman
Street. And it's like,
and I said, burn, motherfucker, burn. I do not care, because whatever it is that you're doing out here, it's like they're not even thinking about punk rock. They're not thinking of fucking polystyrene. They're not thinking of people that were adding to this stuff way before any of that and bringing talent with them. It is not an albatross around your neck. It's something to be, you know, kind of valued.
Well, yeah, believability.
Believability.
That's really what you want. At least that's what my mentor taught me. Why do you keep doing what you do? I mean, you guys do this full time, so you.
Because we must. Because we must. I mean, there are certain things in life when, I should say it like this, because not everybody is lucky enough to know or to have touched on to what it is that you do, what you were put on this planet to do. And I feel very fortunate that I found out at a young age that this is what I'm supposed to do. You know, it's not about, I was not put on the planet to sell a lot of records. I was not put on the planet to be some kind of icon. I was put here to sing music that I love. And I'm fortunate enough to do that. And once you get a taste of being able to do that for a living, why would you ever do anything else? Anytime you get to do what you love, why do it? And then if you find out after a while that you don't love it anymore, maybe you're doing something wrong. So maybe you need to reevaluate how you're doing it and, you know, crack your eye open, look at it again, and then figure out a way to do it. But I'm doing what I'm supposed to do on this planet.
I've had 100 jobs, you know, some of them were really good jobs and I liked them, you know, but it's just nothing easier than being in a band, touring, and, you know, way easier to do it and way more secure and everything. But, you know, this is just what fulfills me. It's just what makes it happen.
Beautiful. For young artists and musicians, songwriters coming up, through your experience, if you could give them any advice in order to be successful